I'm having a great Saturday afternoon chat with baritone Gregory Gerbrandt, who's going to be singing the amazing role of Stanley Kowalski in Andre Previn's A Streetcar Named Desire with Santa Barbara Opera Santa Barbara. That's going to be about a week's time from now, Friday, April 24th at the Granada Theater in downtown Santa Barbara. For you folks coming up from Los Angeles, 7:30 in the evening, Friday, April 24th. A Streetcar Named Desire at the Granada Theater, Opera Santa Barbara, and on Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon, a repeat of A Streetcar Named Desire at 2:30, again at the Granada Theater in downtown Santa Barbara. So April 24, Friday, April 26, Sunday afternoon. The ticket number at the Granada Theater box office in Santa Barbara is area code 805-899-2222. And I have been waiting since, let's see, what was 1991? Let's see, the play, I guess, was 1947, something like that. That we'll talk about because, you know, it's kind of like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. You just cannot get away sometimes from images. We know what we'll get to that in a bit. But the opera, I think, it debuted with San Francisco Opera about what, 1998? I'm trying to find that. Any idea?
Exactly, 1998.
1998 was it? And I remember seeing it. It was broadcast, apparently. You know, it's a dim memory, but seeing it and being so moved by this opera. Andre Previn is such a brilliant composer, conductor, film writer. The music is absolutely gorgeous Americana, I think. And he has this play, these words, these amazing words by Tennessee Williams to work with. But you're kind of the newcomer, right? I mean, from what I've seen about this upcoming show, and I'll deal with your colleagues in a minute, but you're kind of this is your debut not only in Santa Barbara, but in this role, yes?
Exactly. This is the maiden voyage, both at the company and for this opera itself. And it's presented a number of challenges that we can get into if you like, but it's just like I said, it's been challenging. It's been really fun, and it's been very gratifying thus far working on it, both musically, vocally, and theatrically as well. As you can imagine, if you know the play and the movie itself. So.
Yeah, we were going to get to that. In fact, you are the lightning rod. You're a moody, changeable, vengeful SOB, tearing up things, revealing truths.
Hey, now let's keep the language clean.
Sorry. Oh, good. See, you got frozen up. We'll see if you understand. but it's. Are we going to make it? Hang on. See, when his mood calms, so too the image. But, you know, it's a very, very difficult theatrical role. We might as well just go there right now. I mean, that really is probably one of the great challenges of this role. It is a theatrical piece of work.
It's pretty incredible, and I think one really needs to, really come at the role with the idea that this is theater. I mean, this was originally a play. They made it into a movie. Now it's an opera. A number of decades later, but you're right. I mean, it's the theatrics that really grips. It's the story that really gets people's attention, and has over time, over 60 plus years here.
Yeah. And you have as your colleagues. Let's mention them. Beverly O'Regan Teal. She's the soprano. She's playing the amazing role of Blanche. Dubois. Beautiful.
Absolutely, and she's doing an absolutely terrific job. Incredible work.
And she's performed it before. How intimidating
I
is
believe
that?
I believe this is her fourth.
Wow.
Her fourth time approaching the role, and it shows. I mean, she's a stage animal. It's worth the price of admission just to come and see her, if nothing else.
Very well spoken. And we lost you a little bit, but I think the drift is there. And also, she has some gorgeous arias. It's a very beautiful opera. I mean, the story is, as most everybody knows that knows this play, I mean, it's a tough tale. There's a lot of sub-basement stuff going on, a lot of unhappiness, as a lot of life and death. Go ahead.
It is not the Barber of Seville, for sure.
That's for sure.
It is. It's a pretty incredible piece of theater. You mentioned, the composer of Andre Previn, also, as you mentioned, is incredibly prevalent in so many different musical genres, which really made him a perfect composer for this piece. Previn is prevalent in jazz, in classical music, in movie music, and so he brings all of those. He brings all those stylistic attributes to and you'll really like them, I think, too.
Okay. We're getting there again. A little bit of interruptions from time to time, but that's the way with Skype. Sometimes we have a good day, sometimes not so good. But basically, I can speak to Andre Previn. I mean, the orchestration is amazing in this opera, and it's an extremely American work. I mean, he is indeed the ideal composer, and also his film music. I mean, it's a very cinematic score, as it would really have to be to tell this story. But let's move on to the soprano who plays Stella Kowalski. Now this is a hard one, Michaela Oeste.
There you go, Michaela Oeste.
Oeste. Yeah, I got to add that. Michaela Oeste. Also, now I'm not sure whether she's done the role before.
She also is a newbie. So we're kind of the two rookies of the cast, but we're in with both feet. I'll tell you that. Yeah. We're not chickening around. So we're in it for. We've jumped in with both feet, she's my wife in the show, and I couldn't ask for a better Stella, to tell you the truth. Absolutely.
And then Casey Candabat, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name as well, tenor Casey Candabat, who has also done the role before.
Absolutely. And again, another wonderful colleague, another real talent on stage. This is real. I mean, you've got to hand it to Opera Santa Barbara, who brought this really incredible cast to the stage here. And I think not only are we all appreciative of the wonderful work and the chance to be able to sink our teeth into this piece, whether it be the first time, second time, third time, fourth time. But it's just really, I mean, it's been a wonder. The company has been, terrific to us. And it's just, the hospitality has been wonderful. So.
Fabulous. And we have Mark Morash, the conductor, who conducted, I believe, has conducted the work a couple of times. If not its premiere, I'm a little unclear whether he might have.
I don't believe the premiere of it, but the premiere of this production, which opened at San Francisco.
There you go.
On the Marilla program last summer, he's conducted that, and so this production has come down the road, and like I said, some different cast members and all, but this is really, really exciting piece.
And we spoke a little bit earlier off camera. There are so many beautiful arias for the ladies in this opera, but apparently yours is kind of it's more of a declamatory, mood-setting role. You want to speak to that?
Absolutely. I'm not sure I'd even call it an aria per se. Where Stella, Blanche, and Mitch in the show all have arias, outright arias. For Kowalski, it doesn't fit his character. He's so reactionary, so blunt with everything that he says. Everything, all of his feelings just come out, and he just kind of lays his heart on his sleeve. I think arias in the sort of traditional sense are about expressing what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and I think that's for Stanley, he's just right to the point. There's no thinking about it. He's just very reactionary, like I said.
I have to keep reaching down for my notes, but it reminds me just now that these beautiful arias that the sopranos sing and Mitch sings are also dreams. These are people that have sort of fantasy, and Mitch and Stanley, on the other hand, is just right down to earth. There's no
He's
rum.
He's a gritty, raw, gritty and raw fella. Absolutely.
And Previn has said, "I like things that are singable." Is it?
Again, it's been challenging working on this for the first time. Like you said, it's very declamatory, very speech-like. And of course, we have a Southern New Orleans accent, on top of it all. So that's been an extra challenge, But it's I'm sorry. What I'm sorry. Your question again.
Well, I'm sorry too because I've quite forgotten, but I'm ready to move on. We were talking. We can talk just for a little bit. We're kind of talking it to death a little bit, but this idea that the other arias are that there are arias for the other actors, and they are kind of they are dream people, if you will. They have ideas and dreams, as Blanche does in her aria. I have the title somewhere here, but beautiful aria. But you are so down to earth that there is no room for dream. It's just the reality of what's so in the world, and he certainly brings reality into everybody's face.
Right, and then also, is it difficult to sing the music?
There we go.
Yes, it's been extremely difficult to learn for many reasons, but it's really starting to feel good vocally. In the speech-like sense, it's completely sung, but the trick is to really get the meaning of the text and getting the point across very naturalistically, and so it's really coming together for me along with everybody else, and with repetition and time, and we're jumping into Tech Week this week, so we'll really be able to kind of do some fine tuning and really get it ready for everybody. I think it'll be a treat for all involved, for those of us performing and those watching from the audience.
Yeah. Again, I can't wait to see the work live in person. I love that idea. And let's just talk about how you're getting past some iconic imagery, and we're talking Marlon Brando. How does an actor, singer confront a role like this that is just absolutely iconic?
Well, you got to step in the gym first, right? It seems like every time I get caught in a conversation like this, it's like, oh, so you're Marlon Brando. I was like, well, no, I'm not Marlon Brando. I'm playing a role that also Marlon Brando played. But I mean, you know it. I mean, it's it's the taking off of the T-shirts and the screaming of Stella and that's all in there. It's all in there. By
the way, what's the set like? Is it a 2-story set, 2 or 3-story set?
You
haven't seen it yet, even, right?
Right. Well, the main the house is on the ground level.
Yeah.
The 2-room house that Stanley and Stella reside in. And then you have Eunice and Steve, who are a couple, and they live upstairs. So you're not going to see necessarily their house because nothing ever takes place in their house.
Yeah.
But there's a staircase that goes from outside of Stanley's and Stella's house that goes up to a second level in a different direction.
Yeah, but I think the reason I asked is I seem to recall that it was a 2-story set in the San Francisco production, something from what I remember seeing it. Where did all this start? Are you a high school musical theater type? What?
Begrudgingly, yes. To tell you the truth, my father was an opera singer, and so I'm literally following in the footsteps of my dad.
That's amazing.
He and my mother both instilled an incredible passion, which wasn't realized until many years later, into me. And so, it started with the piano lessons and trumpet lessons and guitar lessons.
You hated it, right?
Absolutely wanted to do anything other than sing. So I was bound and determined to do anything anything else but singing, and I begrudgingly got into the choirs in high school because the choir director knew my parents and my sister, who had preceded me in the high school 8 years. By 8 years, she was also a singer through high school, and so I was sort of shoved into it, and I got into the musicals and Sound of Music, Guys and Dolls, Wizard of Oz, and then I was kind of hooked, really on the theatrics of it all. And then I think secondary was singing. I just really enjoyed the theatrics, the stage, seeing what we could come up with. And then I sort of realized that I had some talent vocally, and so I actually took some lessons. I started college as a voice major with my father, who was my voice teacher and opera director at the University of Northern Colorado.
There's no escaping it, huh? apparently you fought. You did the best you could, the best you could to get away. No.
I did.
And now you have to drop to your knees and thank him every time you get a gig, right?
Absolutely. Both he and my mom, just incredible supporters of what I do.
What's up next? I hear and see something about Elijah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's next. The Oratorio Elijah with the Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra, 150 voice choir from the university is going to join, and soloists from around the country, and so this will be my second Elijah, and it's the most gratifying piece of it. And really, it should be an opera. It should be considered an opera and staged. It's just incredible piece. So that's next. I've got a Bohème, La Bohème, Carmina Burano this summer with
That's Utah, right? Somewhere.
Utah Festival Opera. Yeah, so I have some things coming up that I'm really looking forward to as well. So
remember, you send that little card, love your dad. Thanks so much. Every time you get a chance. Let me just run down the goodies once again. Baritone Gregory Gerbrandt, thank you very, very much for taking some time this Saturday evening. Pardon?
Of course, my pleasure.
I thought you said Brooks, and I thought, no, I couldn't have mispronounced your name that badly.
Brooks.
We're talking an incredible production of Andre Previn's A Streetcar Named Desire by Opera Santa Barbara. It's coming up on Friday, the 24th of April at 7:30 in the evening, and on Sunday, the 26th of April at 2:30 in the afternoon at the Granada Theater. That's the biggest skyscraper in town. Those are coming up from Southern California. You can't miss it. Tickets in the Santa Barbara area code 805-899-2222. And I think everyone in there that's kind of within range of me down there in Southern California and greater Santa Barbara, this is really a rare opportunity to see an amazing American masterpiece. This doesn't happen so very often. I hope more, but it's a great work of art at all levels, and it's really worth coming up. Friday, the 24th of April, Sunday, the 26th. Gregory Gerbrandt, thank you very, very much for your time.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me.
See you.